Welcome to Brotherhood Restored, the LDS Man's Heart. We're excited to have you. This is all created just to be able to make a space where LDS men, Christian men, whatever you identify with, are able to come and have real conversations that really matter, not just those surface level. We're going to talk about the news, but really dive into a man's heart, dive into what that looks like, what it feels like to have three men from totally different backgrounds come together and have a conversation on the topics of wife and infidelity and children and the world and everything. So whether you are a broken man, a man that's at his peak, or somewhere in between, we hope that you can resonate with the message that we are bringing, with the level of transparency and vulnerability and taking down the mask and the front to be able to have genuine, authentic conversations. So without further ado, we hope that you enjoyed this podcast. We hope that you enjoy what you're listening to. This is Brotherhood Restored, LDS Man's Heart.
I'm a lover, not a fighter. Just want y'all to know.
It's gonna be a slap off.
I don't know, man.
Well, welcome back. We're good to have you. This is the LDS Man's Heart by Forged and Anchored.
Forged.
I told Alan the other day as we were filming our last some of our last episodes that our background light is a clap on, and I was secretly holding the remote to the light in my other hand. And so I tricked him into thinking it was a clap on, and then I just told Alan to do a clap on. It didn't work out so great. So.
Oh, man.
Well, might not work out too well for you if we ever do the slap on.
Oh, my God.
Well, we are back. Thank you so much for being here. We were just in the middle of a conversation.
Yeah, let's continue it.
Before we do that,
Yeah.
let's make sure we introduce ourselves.
Okay,
So,
go for it.
Most people looking, they know I am Javon, the best looking guy up on this tip. Not to say that they ain't looking good, but I'm the guy. Okay. But anyway.
On that note,
Yeah,
I'm Portland, and
the pretty hair.
I need no introduction, so I'm good. I'm out.
We're glad you guys are with us, wherever you're listening at. So we hope you enjoy the show, and we hope that, something resonates with you in your heart and in your spirit. So with that being said, we're going to jump into things.
we're gonna jump
Let's do it.
So we were talking just before we turned on the camera about something that matters to us. I forgot how we got there.
We were talking about. Were we talking about Viktor Frankl? Is that
Victor Frank? Yeah.
You want to continue that?
Yeah. Let's keep going.
Well, let's give a little background on Viktor Frankl. You did a good job a few minutes ago talking about.
Redo it?
Yeah, just go ahead and give a little bit, just in
so-
case people aren't aware of who he is.
Yeah. So Viktor Frankl, he is a psychiatrist that was living in Germany during the time of the Nazi regime. And during his time, this is just kind of one of my favorites. So I want to kind of, give the preface. He had a ticket to get out of Germany. And he, just kind of boiling down the story, he had a ticket to get out of Germany, went to go say goodbye to his parents. He gets to his parents' house, and then they have this like rubble in their house from a building. And he asked them, like, what's this from? And then they said, hey, we picked it up from the synagogue. They got blown up down the street. And we wanted to have a piece of it in our home.
Mm.
So then he's sitting there, and he came with his intent of saying goodbye because he was getting out, because he was a doctor and they were trying to get him out, right? And on the rubble was one of the 10 commandments, and it said, honor thy father and thy mother. So in that moment, Viktor Frankl decided to stay. He ended up as a psychiatrist living through a concentration camp. But he wrote a book about his experience. And the thing that's kind of unique about it, called
Man's Search for Meaning. Yeah.
Yep. But the thing that's unique about it is that he doesn't detail the suffering and the atrocities that happened to him.
Right.
More so kind of like his psychoanalysis, his observations of people in the camp. And through that process, he developed a type of therapy called logotherapy, which is essentially, when if people have meaning.
Kind of immersion therapy, right?
No, it's more so this emphasis on if people have meaning in their life,
Oh, yeah.
then they're able to overcome. They're able to survive, thrive, things of
Right.
that nature. So where do we go from that?
Well, I was talking about how we were talking about, I really liked how he wrote about his connection with his wife, even though she wasn't there.
Yeah.
And that was, especially meaningful for me. And I think, that could be something that's discussed when we talk more about the beauties in our life. But,
Yeah.
and that very real connection that he felt to her, even though he later learned that she had passed away in a concentration camp that she was placed in. But I was talking about how I felt like one of the things I appreciated about the book is he didn't come at it from a victim standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you kind of disagreed with that a little bit.
100% disagree with it.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Yeah. So we're supposed to tap into that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was instigating on that.
Let's
I'm not saying he wasn't a victim.
Javon, there's some boxing gloves in the back. We no, but the reason why I
talk about this,
disagree is because his whole mentality and kind of the revelation that he had while he was in the concentration camp was that people who didn't have a meaning, once they lost their meaning, they were dead within a couple days.
Yeah.
That they didn't have a purpose or a reason to keep living.
Right.
So then they just passed on, right? All the things that they're going through is like enough to kill anybody.
Absolutely. And no one would fault them for giving up,
No.
actually. Like,
No. Like we admire and acknowledge the people that survived.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Were just some.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's interesting with his journey, his meaning was his work. In a lot of ways, perhaps even connection to his wife and hope for the future.
Mm-hmm.
But he had that, and he had a solid sense of who he was and meaning, which kept him alive.
Yeah. So then in the book, and this is the disagreement.
Okay.
In the book, he says that he realized that his meaning was to suffer.
Okay.
Why did he realize that?
Let's go there, because I think it might be a little bit of a semantics between us
It is
about
semantics,
what it means to
right?
be a victim, but let's go there.
Like I'm a person that like thrives and kind of really wants to tease
Yeah,
about
the
words
nuances.
and what they mean.
Yeah.
But you said that that he didn't subscribe to the victim mentality.
Mm-hmm.
And I disagree with that, because he was able to find and survive because he kind of came to accept that he had to wake up every day and his purpose in that moment was to suffer.
Right.
Like that was
his expectation.
That was his
each day.
expectation every day. Like this is my meaning. I'm suffering.
Mm-hmm.
But so does that make him a victim, or does that make him?
I think it makes him a survivor.
Okay.
The reason
Let's hear that.
The reason I say that is because if once you understand this is what you have to do, it takes on a whole new meaning. It kind of gives you strength each and every day you waking up. All right, I know what the routine is. Let me get it done. And after, it's almost like working a job. Boom. You got certain things to do with a job.
Yep.
You got this to do from this hour to this hour, then going to the next hour. This is your lunchtime. Then you come back, you know what the next things to do. And
let's go get that 9 to 5 done.
Right.
Yeah.
Go home, go to sleep. So that's how I see it. If that's
See, Yeah, and that's the part where I have a little bit difficult time, because I think that with our current society, we would define victim mentality more as woe is me.
Right. Okay.
Right. It's like, oh, poor me. Everybody have pity. Like I can't do this because I
yeah. There's that, but also
have half a brain.
The victim mentality that I see in society, and I see it at school frequently. You've seen it with patients. It's not my fault. I can't control the circumstances that I have. They're out of my control. And although in the case of Viktor Frankl, he had no control of whether he was in the camp or not, that
Right.
agency had been taken from him. Oh, we talked about that once.
Let's not go there.
Yeah, that's a conversation for another day. But he still had the agency within there to choose how he was going to approach his situation.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
Victor,
he chose to accept the reality of the situation and understand that his purpose there, or one of his purposes there, was to suffer and then therefore learn from that.
yeah.
So it's
And just to kind of drive that point home, right? His analysis in the book, he talks about that. He said that he was observing the guards abusing and beating up some of the inmates.
Yeah.
Or is that the right word? That
prisoners.
sounds terrible.
It sounds, yeah, they weren't inmates. They weren't
Inmates
inmates.
doesn't sound right.
Prisoners, yeah.
Prisoners,
POWs.
POWs, right?
Yeah.
That'd probably be the
Because it was a war.
Prisoner of war, but
Yeah.
you know, these were individuals who were just
yeah.
civilians taken
So
anyway.
but in that he's observing this, and then this is kind of a very commonly quoted kind of reference, and I'm not going to get it perfectly, but he says that he noticed that as people were getting beaten, that he started noticing, he realized that between every stimulus, the guard beating the prisoner and the reaction of the prisoner, there was a small moment of time. And that small moment of time was agency and choice. And with that being said, right, that there's this ability, regardless of circumstance, to be able to make a decision.
Sorry to interrupt. These will appear later. I want you to keep going because I just thought it was scripture. That's all.
But and that's kind of one of the things about why I disagreed.
That's all. It's all you.
Yeah.
But one of the things is that just being able to talk about this victim, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just like the definitions. I don't think that he was. I have no control.
Right.
But I mean, the
Clearly
whole premise
he took
is
control.
that he was a victim.
Yeah, sure. So maybe it's more like, of course he was a victim, but he didn't have a victim mentality.
Yeah,
as we see it currently.
Yeah, he embraced everything that was going on around him. You know, and that's truly how he survived
and overcame.
Yeah,
and overcame.
Yeah. Because he was sitting there. He had something to do. As long as you got something to do, as far as your mental stability, you can focus. And you don't have to focus on all the, you got too much. It's almost like I'm focused on all these different things instead of just focusing over the overall bad situation that I'm in. Yeah. So let me focus on how this guard is beating up this person and how they giving us food, or how these two are arguing over something that happened here, because I'm pretty sure there were people in the camp who were fussing, even though they know the situations that were going on and where they were.
Yeah.
There could be any type of situation going on in there, but it's all happening within the confines of this camp. So
yeah.
Just a scripture that made me think about this is just our ability to choose for ourselves is part of the plan of salvation.
Right.
And in 2 Nephi chapter 2, verse 26, this is after the Adam fell that men might be men, or that they might have joy. I think too often we stop there because the next verse pulls it all together. And the Messiah cometh in the fullness of time, that he may redeem the children of men from the fall. And because that they are redeemed from the fall, they have become free forever, knowing good from evil, to act for themselves and not to be acted upon. And that's the crux. To act for themselves rather than choose to be acted upon. Too often, especially in our modern society,
right,
we just simply respond to what is happening around us without choosing how we're going to respond.
Mm-hmm.
And that puts us in it's everybody else's fault. Victim mentality.
Everybody else's fault, or in other words, I have no control.
I have no control.
Of circumstance.
Yes. And so maybe that's one of the reasons why that book resonated with me. I mean, lots of reasons to fascinating read, but just that it was so true to the doctrine that we teach, that we understand, that I always try and help my kids understand is you have a choice every time you're presented with a situation, how you're going to behave. It's not about the other person. It's about you. What are you going to do?
Yep.
I was actually having that conversation with Kimberly today. Yeah.
So true.
My daughter, who's serving a mission. It's fun to chat with her once a week.
And one thing, so I'm gonna kind of toot my own horn here. But with it, just with my schooling, I had to do research, and then we ended up getting published. And the published article is specifically about how to support people and children who have been impacted by the suicide of their father. Okay. And that led me to kind of present that research in different formats and settings, and once presented at BYU. And as I'm sitting there at BYU, I had this fascinating thought come to mind.
Right.
And you kind of alluded to it, Javon, where people who overcome, like Viktor Frankl, regardless of the circumstances, they become warriors, they're heroes, they're kind of like all these things. And it's this fascinating thing. There's a post-traumatic stress, and specifically post-traumatic stress disorder. And then there's this thing that I'm super curious in and want to learn more about and study more, post-traumatic growth. Because you have a lot of people, like, for example, most classic example, because this is where we learned about PTSD, was war. So a lot of soldiers come home, and because of what they saw, they have this post-traumatic stress. And we see a lot of our, military veterans, and they're struggling. They got mental health. They're living on the streets, like all these things. But then at the same time, we see these exceptions to the rule that are like New York Times bestsellers, or that they've done this and they've done that and lived through similar experiences, yet totally different outcomes and trajectories. And it's just interesting and we see this with our families, right? Where, for the most part, I had a very similar upbringing to that of my siblings. Totally different.
Right.
I guess that would be for me too.
Yeah.
Because so think about it, me and my sister growing up in foster care, I dealt with more abuse than she did, mentally, physically, and everything. But look at me. And she's the one still living in the hood, still kind of struggling. But she actually had things were better for her than they were for me. But me, I'm the survivor.
Yeah.
I'm the person that's married. I'm the person that has the family, I'm the one that has the house.
But if you go back to the episode where you told your story, that was a real fight.
Yeah.
That was a real battle to get to that point.
Yeah. It took it, but I don't know, something in me eventually just, I think because I wanted to be better. I wanted things to be better. And I think I had always wanted it. I just didn't see it. I didn't see where I could reach out and get it.
Yeah.
But somehow, some way, just even with the choices I made, they weren't the best choices. But somehow, some way, God put my wife in my life. Like, what? Like, even at the time, it was like, and people were telling her, nah, that's not the guy you need to be with for real. That's not the guy, And he got his anger issues. He a player, all other things. And she still chose me. She saw beyond that, which was crazy too. So when I say miracles and blessings happen, I don't even know what to call that. I really don't. But
grace,
I truly survived it. So I survived everything. And then her actually helping me to really deal with everything. once my depression set in. I didn't have any other choice. It was like, you got to deal with this or you're not going to make it. And I just wasn't, with everything else going around me, I'm like, I'm tired. I'm tired of not making it or feeling free of this burden that's on my back and these things that keep weighing me down and holding me down, and me feeling like I'm the victim when I'm the person that made these choices, regardless of my depression.
Oh man, that is what you said is so good.
Yeah.
In that, that is to me true ownership. To say, I might be a victim, but I made the choices that is making my life hard.
Yep. Yeah.
Now,
and not all of them, but some of them. You know.
no, not all of them, because you can't control who you're born to and the environment that you grow up in. That's, that's not on you at all. But at some point, you have to say, it's my life, and I have to own the decisions I'm. There you go. Let's sing some Bon Jovi. Bon Jovi.
What was it?
It's my life. I don't know.
Yeah, let's let Bon Jovi sing.
Maybe it's the way you sing it.
That wasn't even close.
I was like, what? We'll go ahead and see what you said.
When my kids start singing, I'm like, who's
just so that you guys know, I heard it perfectly in my head.
That's right. That's right.
And then the moment I tried, I'm like, oh.
Here's the thing. If I tried, it'd be worse. So, but when my kids start singing a pop song or something, I'm like, hey, who sings that song? They'll tell me. I'm like, well, you should let them.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm sure people have heard that before, but
we were just talking about how you're a bully.
I know, I'm such a bully. I love bullying my kids.
I'm glad that everyone gets to see it now.
That's right. That's right.
Cortland and your children.
That's right.
Speaking of not having control over circumstances.
What's that?
You bullying your children.
Oh, yeah. My poor kids. Man, they bully me. Are you kidding me? Shoot. They make fun of me all the time. So I love that you said that, because like I was saying, you can't control some of the circumstances that are in our lives. We just can't. But as you grow up, you have to start owning it, and then realizing that, hey, these choices are having an impact. What can I do to change it? I'm not going to be a victim of this past life or of my own choices anymore. I'm going to move forward.
Right.
The way you said that was really good.
It was really good. And I think that that's something that a lot of, like, just we're not speaking for all LDS men.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Just speaking as LDS men hoping to be vulnerable and genuine to be able to relate.
Yeah.
I've struggled in my life so much with that.
Tell me more about that. Ownership. Okay.
Right.
Like you struggle to own it, or you struggle watching other people?
Oh, 100% struggle to own it. Right. And so let's just cut through the crap, or as Javon would say, the BS. We only use letters here, not the words.
Right. God,
but there's just like a ton of C going on, right? And then there's no.
And then that just sounds weird. Let's not do that again.
That sounds weird. But we, as humans, but also as men, right? It's just easy to be like, nah, well, like this happened, so I mean that's just what I had to do. Like that was just like, I'm trying to think of a good example, right? Growing up, right, and then we're like language, right? Cursing like a sailor, never a problem for me. I just like it's never been in my vocabulary.
Yeah.
But we're sitting there, and then things happen, and it's just like, well, yeah, that's how I grew up. Yeah. And we just attribute it to that was my upbringing, or that was this, or that was that.
Yeah.
That's the
and we
excuse
don't take
use. Yeah.
Exactly. We're always searching for excuses because it's easier.
It's easier.
Yeah. To say this is why I did what I did, as opposed to saying I could change that.
Yeah.
I'm choosing to do that, regardless of this is what I know. I'm still the one that can change it. Just because I know that's what I've been around, don't mean I have to do it.
Yeah.
You need to act, not be acted upon, to go back to Second Nephi.
Yeah, to go back to Second Nephi. And for me, that kind of taking ownership that was huge when I came out and I started telling Simone about how I was struggling, behind the scenes with
Right.
pornography and all that, where it was just like, circumstances and, I've been doing this since I was a kid. It's just a habit.
Yeah.
Because
Trying to kick it.
you actually were as a child really a victim of somebody else
Yeah.
getting you involved.
Yeah.
But at some point you have to switch.
Yeah.
Have to switch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let's talk about how we switch that a little bit, and just from experiences. Let's limit the kind of coaching at people, because we all have that capacity.
Now, if someone feels like what we're saying is helping them, great. If you're just enjoying this, awesome too.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
and my point is like when I was going through that process of I didn't know it, but I was changing mindset to be able to start owning right my behavior. It was a lot of coming and allowing somebody to see past the facade, right? This wallpaper, this picture, this identity that I wanted other people to see and perceive in me. And that's tough. That was so hard for me to be able to sit here and say, hey, look, I'm struggling with this, I'm breaking the law of chastity with, viewing pornography and all that. So then I was like, oh, I'm going to be looked at as, sick, perverted, not this like good guy.
Yeah.
Right. Because I mean, that's what people think.
That's what people think.
Yeah.
So then that was huge for me, because it was so difficult. I wanted this perception to be had. I wanted everyone to see the good Cortland, the successful Cortland. I wanted them to see that, I was at church and I was serving and I was, doing those things that we believe we should do. And then all of a sudden someone's like, hey, you have to tell somebody in your family about this.
Yeah.
Because I can't keep doing this alone.
Wow.
And so then she's like, I don't want to tell my family because I don't want them thinking a certain way about you.
Yeah.
And, I'm thankful for Simone. It's a huge thing.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, all right, I'll tell my dad. And my dad was the person I was most afraid of seeing me as I was.
Yeah.
And not as I wanted him to see me.
Well, you should say that again.
Oh, there's no chance I'm going to get that out of you.
Yeah, you
Let me go back.
You can
re-say that.
You can say that again. You know why? Because you're so far on the other side.
Yeah. But there's, I wanted to tell my dad, I was like, I got to tell my dad, because he was the last person, or the person that I wanted him to see me as I wanted him to see me, not as I really was.
Yeah.
And by allowing him to see me as I was, cut out this person that I wanted him to see me as.
Yeah.
And that was so huge in my ability to start overcoming this.
Right.
Because I was like, whoa, my dad sees me as I am.
And
he
his
still
response,
loves me?
yes, that's it right there.
And the response that he gave me that like really like shook me was, he's like, Cortland, like, I don't think there's a man alive that hasn't had a problem with this. And I was like, oh, cool.
And
You still like me. but then the next part, when then Simone, right, where she saw me and she came up to me and hugged me after, a relapse, and after I, started abusing it again, and she just hugged me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, people still love me even when my pose isn't working, and they're seeing past the perception and actually where I am.
Let's talk about that for a second. The pose, because I like to use that word. So growing up, I skated a lot, in the 90s, skateboarding started getting huge. And then I rollerbladed a lot.
Hey guys, this is where he talks about how much he was a bully. So
That's right. Yeah. Can't skate in my park unless you're going to try something.
right.
So I rollerbladed in the 90s. If anyone can think back that I can. He's kind of young, but there was like
I was born mid-90s.
That's true. I mean,
You were born.
we were living.
Yeah, we were living.
Let me just go back then. My first memories, early 2000s.
Okay.
Okay.
So my first memories.
I'm just trying to make you old.
Yeah, I am.
You wake up and make me old.
Keep going.
So anyway, back to skating. In the 90s, inline skating was invented. It was a huge deal, and they started doing aggressive inline skating where you know ramps and rails. I was really into that, and I could also it was so fun, and I could skateboard really well too.
Not the bowls, not the other bowls.
Right? Yeah. No, we're not doing that kind of bowls.
What am I gonna do with you?
I don't know. So it was interesting. If I was rollerblading, some of the skaters would call me a poser, right? Or a Fruit Looper or something like that. They had names for the kids that were rollerblading. And then I'd take off my skate, get on a skateboard, and I could skate too. So they're like, oh, okay. You're not really a poser, right? You're not just here to look good or to skate different. But then there were the kids at the park, and in the 90s, this was a huge deal when maybe that's where the term came from, or at least that's in my life where it came from. You're a poser if you had a skateboard, if you were at the park and you weren't trying anything. If you just wanted to look cool and be part of the crowd, but not actually try.
Yeah.
And that's where we'd be like, don't be a poser. Like if you're going to have a skateboard, let me look at the bottom of that. If it's not all scuffed up, if you're not ruining your board, then you're not doing it. You're not skating. And so when I hear the word pose or poser, that's immediately what comes to mind is you're pretending to be something that you might want to be, but you're not. You're pretending to be something in order to look a certain way or to fit in a certain way. And I think in a lot of ways, we all are posers in some way in our life.
Yeah. And one of the big pieces, Jovan, if you jump in when you're ready, one of the big pieces here too is that when we have this pose, like for example, I wanted to be seen as this virtuous man, right? Good moral fiber. And then people find out that, I was using pornography, but my entire life, it was like, hey, we like moral fiber guy, so I go to school and I pick up some paper. That's just some trash on the floor. And what do I get? I get a gold star.
Attaboy.
Hey, moral fiber. This is good. Cortland has moral fiber.
Right.
And then later, this happens. Oh, moral fiber. Good job, Cortland.
Yeah.
But back here, I'm like, hey, they don't know about this.
Yeah.
And if they find out about this, moral fiber, Cortland's gone.
But here's the thing, that moral fiber Cortland wasn't necessarily a pose. You were using that to some degree. That's interesting too. You didn't want people to see past where that part of who you really wanted to be would be that perception would be diminished. Because when I think of you now, I think that you have good moral fiber, or maybe good fiber.
I eat my fiber
your
one.
cereals.
I eat my fiber one.
It's good. Are you regular?
Oh my God. Oh, TMI. Oh my goodness.
Anyway, so what I'm saying is, but there was a part of it that if you felt like you were exposed would diminish that part of your character that was important to you.
But it's the same, like in your story, you talked about it, right?
Yeah.
I was told, right, Satan had the script, Alan, you're stupid.
Right.
So then why'd you want to go to school?
Because so I could overcome it, to show that I wasn't stupid. Yeah.
Right. It was a pose. I want people to see me as something different than, I'm actually struggling with or I'm dealing with.
Right.
Right.
For me, I don't.
Well, say what you said earlier. Because in your background, you didn't say poser.
Fronting.
Yeah.
Fronting. And I don't think there were a lot of moments I was fronting. because I wasn't trying to do what everybody else did. Again, every day for me was survival mode. Any and every day could be different. No day was the same. Um, whereas in you had to actually finally tell somebody. For me, my whole life, I had been looking I had been wanting to feel wanted, wanting to feel loved, someone to actually love me, to have, that family bond, or friendship bond. I didn't have stuff like that. It was always different people in and out of my life. But I wanted it to stop. So there was never me trying to front or pose because I didn't really have that option to do that, I just know that in me, when I got to the point of when everything, like with the infidelity, it blew my wife's mind away when I was like, all right, I'm going to go talk to your mom. She's like, what? I'm like, I'm going to talk to her. Because she didn't bring anything up like, oh, we got to go talk and tell them. I was like, I'm going to go talk to my mom. Talk to your mom. And I'm going to talk to our daughter, my stepdaughter, her daughter. And whomever else I need to, I'm going to do the talking. Not you going to talk or us going to talk. But you can go with me to just support me. But I decided. And it was almost like I gained this strength. Because I was so done with, and for me, I probably was more like hiding.
I was going to say you were living a life that you didn't want to live anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
but I was also hiding because my wife was lying for me, and that wasn't her place. A lot of times when we were supposed to do things together with the family, and everything like that, I wasn't showing up because I was always gone. It was always an excuse. I was working, or, in those days when I, was going back to hustling and stuff like that, I got to be somewhere else, like this place called the warehouse, but it was a lot of activity going on in the warehouse, things like you see on TV. So here I am, a guy that's just making sure certain things don't happen and the police don't come around and shipments and stuff is being shipped out here and there. I was doing stuff like that, but my wife was having to lie for me, And so I think that's why ultimately I was like, nah, I can't have you do that. I have to man up and do that. So it was never really for me being a poser or just, I probably fronted in my younger days, probably with certain things, and or more so like flaunted, because I remember whenever I would get huge amounts of cash, shoot, I let everybody see that, and that, you know what, actually that might be a little bit of posing or fronting for me, because I'm fronting and trying to show this cash thinking it was going to pull certain people in, and I remember this girl telling me, she was like, why are you doing that? I'm like, because I got it to do it. She be like, but why? You know where you live at. You know the people you're around. They see you with all this money. What you think they're going to do to you?
Yeah, it's dangerous, right?
But of course my mentality was like, not a daggone thing.
Yeah,
because
they know who I am.
Yeah, exactly. And if you was going to try me, you better take care of me, because if you don't, I'm coming for you. That's,
yeah.
Well,
that was straight
remind me to come back to I'm good.
Okay.
I want to come back, but I want to talk about this too.
Because I had a thought too, so go ahead.
So just out there, we gotta. I'm good.
We should start taking notes, but we gotta come back.
But one of the things though is that a lot of times people, when they're posing or fronting, they don't know it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But one thing that you said, kind of like, I think that this is like so common for men. What did you said that you wanted to be loved. You wanted a good relationship.
Yeah.
So then you started acting in a certain way to try to kind of receive that in a little bit, right? So like, for example, you're just talking about how, you're taking your cash and you're kind of showing
But that
it
wasn't
off.
me trying to be getting love at that moment. It was just, I think in that moment it was me just being accepted or trying to get specific
Respect.
girls, you know,
Oh.
respect and stuff like that. So like, so it's like all these little bitty pieces, not like a long thing with me. I always have been wanting to be loved. And I know that part, that was genuine because whenever I would be in a relationship, I would go hard. I would go so hard that the female would dog me out and I looked like a sucker. And it wasn't until I was like, yo, hey, after the last female, I helped her get her crib and she had the dude over there and I ham in the house. It was like, all right, I'm done. I'm wilding out now. And I was just before, you know, it was like probably 2-3 years before I met my wife. I was just out there. Just any female came across my path, nah, you ain't gonna get what you wanted. And these were really good women who wanted to give me love, but I was like, the wall was up. Nah, because I had been hurt. You know, it was constant being hurt and constant pain of people not accepting me, or they'll let me in and show me a little bit of love or whatever, and then I get cut. So for me, it was different. It wasn't even about posing.
And so, well, then the pose could be applied in a lot of ways, or the front.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to protect yourself from
Yeah.
getting hurt. And what kind of stood out to me is I think there's a lot of ways to define this element, which is we are hiding what we don't want others to see.
Which is true. Yeah.
And I think whether we call it a pose, whether we call it a different life that we don't want anyone to see, there's elements of us that we're ashamed of.
Yeah. And it was a lot of pain.
Well, we've been taught and reinforced to be ashamed of.
Well, and
things that we should be ashamed of, but
there are some actions that perhaps we should be ashamed of, like some choices that we made that are not good, that we should feel godly sorrow, maybe not shame. But the problem is, I think we hold it in because we are afraid, like what you were saying, of what people will think about us if we allow that part of us to be seen.
Yeah, a little bit of that was going on because I really wasn't trying to divulge everything that was going on with me. Like when I say I had things were hard, I just didn't want to talk about it with people.
Right.
You know.
And you know, it's not like we need to go around with a flag that says, here's all of my things that I'm.
Yeah.
But the people that are close to us, the people that will really see us, those are the people that we should feel comfortable saying, this is something that I struggle with. This is something that's hard. I need to come clean.
I need to come clean, but then there's also a level of like, we've got to discern that. Right? Like Javon, when you and I first met, you know, I don't know what it was like for you.
You were probably looking at him like, man, I like that guy's hair.
Nah, I didn't have hair back then. Like my hair was short. I had a little comb over, right?
Yeah.
And now
you was clean shaven.
I was clean shaven.
Yeah.
Right. But it was just like, you know, from the moment that I met you, I'm like, Javon's real. Right. I don't know if you felt that likewise, but it's those moments, right, where we need to find real brotherhood, and we sense it. Like we have this cool ability to be able to be like, hey, Alan, like when he asks me how I'm doing, like I think he means it.
Yeah.
You know? Or Javon comes up.
No, I don't.
Or Javon comes up and, you know, when I see him smile, like I feel like he's actually happy to see me.
Yeah.
You know? And it's those moments where we got to be able to understand, like, hey, like that's a good brother. You got to talk to him.
Well, and that's the element of being seen. Like, and I think we all crave a little bit of that.
Yeah.
I try to make sure that when I'm talking to all the brothers and stuff and the guys I'm meeting in our church, I genuinely show them love. You know, and I do that because for so long I didn't get love. And it wasn't until I met my wife and my mother-in-law that I truly understood what unconditional love was. because I never had that, not even from my own parents and stuff. They said, it wasn't true unconditional love anytime I'm in the hospital and I just got, I'm in a psych ward for trying to kill myself. And I told my dad, I was like, yo, you never told me you love me. I never heard you say that. And he says in a moment, oh, I love you. I don't want it like that. Like, to me, you don't love me. You just giving me something because I'm asking for it in this moment.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's a part of you that felt like, oh my gosh, my son is about to, was about to die. And he could be dead. And, because my dad didn't show his emotions. He didn't. He does, like, my dad's still hardcore to this day. He won't show his emotions, but I can feel his energy. He ain't got to show it, but I know it.
So why do you think for your dad and for a lot of men, we're scared to do that? What is it about holding, and we all do it. I think women are better at being emotional.
Yeah. Because they're nurturers.
So, but why for men? Why do we feel so vulnerable when we're emotional or we're willing to?
Well, I was gonna just say I just think it's different for depending on who the man is. There are some men who will show their emotions.
Oh, of course.
But the ones who don't, sometimes they don't want to hear what other people may think about them. They're worried about upholding the image.
There you go, the pose again.
Right, because it goes all the way back to the pose. And then you got some people like me who just was good at cutting off his emotions, like a light switch. Boop. Off. If I wanted to feel, I'll feel. But if not, won't.
But and for me, it was weakness.
Oh, right.
If I cry,
I'm weak.
You felt like you was weak.
I'm a baby. If I cry, I'm a pansy.
Yeah.
Right. If I'm angry, I'm a jerk or a prick or whatever you want to say.
Which most men grow up hearing that from their parents. Their men.
Oh,
It's like, well, if you cry, you're a punk or you soft.
Yeah.
And especially, who does it come from?
The dad.
For me, it came from my stepdad.
Yeah. It comes from a father figure or a father or a big brother.
And it's just this eternal cycle.
Yep.
And even if it doesn't, society says that message to you, right? Like, what does it actually mean to be a man? Well, crying, that's not what a man does.
Yeah.
Like, that's what Javon does. That's not
that's not what a man does.
Cry.
Hey. No, it's funny because I just want to own it. We always read in chapter book to the kids, right? We just finished Holes.
It's a good book.
Okay. And
y'all go with these books. These guys are going. I swear, I'm gonna be the smartest black man I know. Right?
I did not read Holes. I saw the movie. So.
I saw the movie too. But
we're reading, and then you guys know the movie so good.
Yeah.
So at the end of the movie, he's in this kind of like prison work camp for kids, and he gets into it with a few of the kids that he's kind of around.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, he's being released. And there's this boy that comes up and he's like, hey, will you do me a favor? He's like, yeah. And the boy says, will you tell my mom that I'm sorry? And he gives him his mom's phone number. And I'm sitting there reading the book. And I'm like,
at least oh man. Trying to hold it in. He fighting that.
And I'm fighting it. And my kids are like, why aren't you reading?
What's wrong with you, Dad?
And I'm just sitting there. I'm looking at Simone. I'm trying to compose myself. I'm like, yeah. And it's not because I'm afraid of sharing the emotions. It's because I'm trying to read, and it's hard to read when you're bawling, right? But just as children, we just hear it all the time.
Yeah.
Like, get up, stop crying, work harder, work smarter, keep doing this. And I just want to share this experience because it was really healing for me. This isn't a toot my horn. This was healing for me. Yeah. We're sitting at I was helping Barrett's class for activities. So that's my oldest son. And we're sitting there and we're playing chair soccer. So everyone has a chair, and then there's a soccer ball going around, and you can get up and you kick the ball at another person's chair. If it touches your chair, you're out, you have to sit down, and the only time that you can get back in is if you get the ball. If the ball comes to you, you get it, and you get somebody else's chair.
Mm.
And he's playing, and he's small for his size, for his age, and there are older boys with us, and he's trying his best, and he's going through, and he's just not doing well.
Yeah.
And he's feeling it, and some other kids start saying some things to him. So then I go over there and I pick his chair up and I move it somewhere else, just because, protect a father, right? And dealing with
Exactly what I was over here. I was like, who is these boys? Let me find out.
Yeah.
I got you.
So I just moved him, and I said, "Hey, Bear, I just want you to move because it seems like over there you're not having the most fun." So then, he just smiles at me and he starts playing. And then all of a sudden he's sitting there and he goes to protect his chair, and a boy just boots it. Boom! And this ball's just flying at Barrett. And I'm like, shoot. And then he puts his hand up to block it, and the ball pins his hand against the metal chair.
Ouch.
And the ball. And I'm like, ooh, that hurt.
Yeah.
So then I walk over and I just see him hiding that he's crying.
Yeah.
So then I walk over and I grab him, I take him out, and he then lets it out, right? And I'm like, hey, that hurt.
Yeah.
I saw that hurt.
Yeah.
And I said, let's let our cry. Let's let it go. And when you're ready, we'll go back.
All right.
And, sharing the story because, I wish I had that.
Yeah.
Like my dad to bring me aside and be like, dude, look, I know you don't want to be in there crying in front of everybody,
Right.
but you need to cry. That hurt.
Yeah.
Let's do it. We're good. When you're ready, we'll go back.
Yeah.
But what I heard growing up, hey, let's go to the races. Let's be men. Let's go brawl. Let's, drink. Let's do all these things. And it was just like, that wasn't being a man.
Well, and again, even if you have a father that's doing what you're trying to do with Barrett, the world will tell you these other things.
Correct.
And so you
got a home.
That's right. You got to find a way to, as fathers in our homes, like we were talking about the other day.
Javon brought that up, which was
protect.
So good, right? Protect the home.
Yeah. And let them know that it's okay, because there's something healing about feeling the pain, letting the emotion out.
Yeah.
And then, you can recover when you feel the pain, when you allow yourself to weep for whatever the struggle may be. There's something healing in that, and then you can move forward a little bit easier, a little bit better.
A part of you becomes free.
Yeah.
And you're not whatever that weight is that's holding you down is no longer holding you down.
And when you experience it with somebody who doesn't reinforce that you shouldn't have done it, like for example, you start crying, and they're just sitting in it with you and they're okay. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
You're telling me I can do this? This is okay?
That's a vulnerability right there.
Yeah.
To sit there and cry and to be with someone who's understanding you. And, that goes back to the reason we do Forged and Anchored, the reason we do LDS Men's Heart, because we want an environment, a community where we can help each other in that way.
The reason why I do marriage mentoring, outside of this, because I want men to understand that, look, you're not alone. Understand life is tough. You're taught that, you're not supposed to be vulnerable. You're not supposed to cry. But bro, that's far from it. You need to have that. That is a part of your growth. That is a part of you growing with yourself, but also growing with the individuals that are around you. You cannot that is non-negotiable, period. You got to. And so a lot of men struggle because they don't want to be vulnerable. Dude, it's your wife. Be vulnerable.
Well, and I think that goes back to, if I could take it full circle, of talking about Viktor Frankl and making a conscious decision, an intentional decision to act instead of being acted upon. it's almost like the antidote to posing, or what did you call it? Fronting. There we go. Posing, fronting, hiding
Yeah.
is to act rather than be acted upon. So if you want to overcome your pose, you have to do something intentional to act.
Yeah.
And that action leads to healing. I say healing funny. Healing. We're going to walk up and down the hill.
We're gonna go healing.
My kids make fun of how I say stuff all the time. Anyway, it leads to...
I heard it perfectly.
Thank you.
Fine.
It leads to healing.
Yeah.
Healing. And that's where that action we can truly invite. And I think the Savior is just waiting for that.
Yeah.
To come in and say, okay, yeah, you're sitting with your brother, you're sitting with your spouse, you're sitting with whoever needs to be part of your healing process, or healing from a struggle, or growing from a struggle, whatever it is you may be struggling with. The atonement steps in.
Yeah.
The Savior steps in. I mean, the atonement is what he did for us. So the Savior steps in. And says, let me take this. Let me help you through this.
You right about that.
And that right there is true ownership.
Yeah.
True accountability.
And I want to kind of wrap us up with just an invitation, and then Javon will have you close us out with our...
Before you, do you want to say something about remind you?
Oh, yeah.
That's what you're about to say. That's all I'm about to say.
Good.
Thank you, Javon.
Okay.
So this is kind of the invitation that we want to make to men, right? Speaking to all of our brothers listening. When you see somebody at church, at work, you see another man, what do we always say when we see somebody for the first time? Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Yeah.
And we say, oh, it's good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
Our invitation, just say something that's not that. Hey, Javon, how you doing? You know, you say good, or let's switch the roles, right? Javon asked me how I'm doing. This week was rough.
Yeah.
You know,
for instance, when you asked me over the call that.
Yeah. When we were doing our group hangout in our school community.
I went in and let them know, like, bro, this is, you want to know?
Oh, you did that today, huh?
No, this tomorrow.
It's
We got another one tomorrow.
Yeah.
Saturdays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did have one for yesterday.
Was it, or was it last week?
I saw an email, but maybe
it's, I think it's for tomorrow.
Yeah,
okay.
tomorrow.
You only do it once a week?
Yeah, just
okay.
Saturdays.
Well, I thought I missed it, so okay, there we go. Good, I'll be on it tomorrow then. but go ahead. Mean to cut you.
Yeah, no, but yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah.
And when we have that, and we're just like open,
yeah,
and we say, hey, how you doing? And it's like, well, honestly, this was a great week.
Yeah.
Like I got a raise this week, and I'm just took the wife out. We got to go out, have fun.
Right.
Or, hey, you know, I got fired this week. My mom died. My mom's sick. My kids are sick. And if you follow that invitation and truly like say how you're doing, I promise that the person that you share that with is going to feel a level of connection with you.
Yeah.
And you with them that you haven't experienced before.
Yeah.
And it's cool because you do it, right? And you like actually say how you're doing. And then you'll see their face change.
Yeah.
Right? You'll say, hey, how you doing? And it's like, honestly, not so great.
Yeah.
And then like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's when that vulnerability starts opening up, where you guys can actually have an open conversation about.
And then it leads to, hey, let's go out for lunch.
Yeah.
And then it leads to them being willing to share.
So
too.
you asking me out for lunch?
No.
Oh, dang.
I already
spilled the beans and told them everything. I ain't getting no lunch. What is, man?
See, that's the thing. You gotta wait until after the lunch to start going. No. So anyway, that's our invitation for you after this episode. And Javon, you want to close this out?
Yeah, man. Great talk today. What we talking about? We talked about a plethora of things, but we hope you can relate to a lot of things we were talking about. Again, like and subscribe. Let us know what you think, if there's any questions you have. And until then, we'll see you next time. Deuces!
Thank you so much for spending the time with us today. We're grateful that you were willing to participate, whether it was on our YouTube channel or just in podcast mode, just listening. We hope that whatever situation or circumstance led you to listen or participate today, that you found value in what we had to say. With all that was said, what we ask in return is that you like, subscribe, that you comment, so that way we can have and continue to have these genuine conversations. Lastly, we have a free community where we are gathering men to be able to have these conversations in a safe, protected space. So if you go to school.com, SKOOL.com/the LDS Man's Heart, you'll be able to find us, join, and participate with us in that community. Again, we're excited and grateful that you were willing to be with us today, and we hope to see you soon.